everybody. Hop in, Sin. Kenny, good to see you. All right, folks. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. And here we go. So, I got that as our thumbnail sitting there for a second. Notice how the light is coming straight up here and bending and going up and around something there. So, we'll get into this. We'll go through this frame by frame. Let me close out a couple open tabs and let's get into this. Let me zoom back out. You guys see the space right here? Looking back at the sun. Interesting. There's an eye, there's a pupil and an eye in there too. We'll get into that a little bit later, but let's get this show on the road. All right, so let's put it forward in reverse. There we go. All right, and scooch camera a little bit better. There we go. All right, while we're letting that loop load up there, take a moment of this time to thank you for taking a moment of your precious time to be a part of this family. There's a little bit more to this live stream than you think. So, very precious family here. Okay, so stick around for the spiritual report and you'll find out why. Okay, where'd my pointer go? Oh, there we go. So, our loop plan there, Brian, what is your thoughts on the 7.3 earthquake? Kind of, well, I'm not an I told you so guy, but it was no surprise because we were just talking about that region the night before and all the pressure and stuff that was under there. But um, it looks like an explosion on the seismograph, but not deep surface. Um, when stuff releases really quick like that and snaps suddenly, there's a sudden release of energy like that, it can leave that kind of signature. I know what a lot of people are thinking, maybe underground testing and stuff. Trust me, they have done so much testing before we were even born, before we were here, that most of us were here, that they've perfected it. Okay, so and that stuff really doesn't matter really right now, anyways. But good question, great question, and we'll get into that on the earthquake report tonight too. So, meanwhile, as you can see, your spire regions coming off here, you can see your big explosion down below, and then this one up below, up above, or off to the right here, kind of. So, let me scooch for your viewing pleasure and catch this opening frame, and we'll march through this frame by frame. Back up a couple there. There we go. All right, so opening frame here, you can see your spire region coming out, just kind of normal activity. And then we start going through, some streaks. Moving on, you can see our slow motion, long duration event that's going on in this region is still there and going on, but now we got other activity off to the right, so we're just going to keep plugging away. Little satellite moon right there, because there's something bigger coming. See this little moon right here that just shot out? It's close up and hugging something bigger in the background. There's another one right here, another one right here. You can see something else coming in towards the sun down here. Something else that peeled away is going off, ricocheting off this direction as well. All kinds of activity. You can see this dark region right here where where the little object is, it's dark. They're black. They absorb light, leaving a dark patch where there's no light or missing light. Okay, as you can see this spread coming out, going over, you see our flow, our asymmetrical and symmetrical flows going over something bigger here in the background. All right, these little moons and their interactions with the sun are kind of diffusing what's back here, hogging up some of the, instruments' reactions there. Blocking our bigger object kind of with the plasma reactions to it. Now you can see this plasma arm come out and reach out and go over something bigger back here. Okay, this is a clear indication of light bending. Okay, this is bending light. The light's coming out, taking a 90-degree angle and going up and over something. There's an object right here. All right, let's just keep going here as we plug away. You see a little face pop up, and it's there for a few frames. Look how this plasma comes out, goes up and over. There's plasma coming down, streaking back this way. Here's your crochet of plasma crisscrossing when these tails kind of interact and then go different polarity. Now it's coming off of this region, going up and connecting to the top up here of this object, while this one's coming, reaching down and connecting to the polarity down below. Then we have another eruption down below here. Right there. Probably good. let's see if we can kind of capture this. Um, yeah, that was the best frame. So, right. Give me one before that, right in here. All right. So right about here, you can see our bigger object back in here. All kinds of little moons and stuff, little satellites going along with it and everything. And then as it starts to, you see the instrumentation, this dent in the instrumentation. There's a moon or a satellite right in front of our bigger object here in the background, and it takes dominance over the instrumentation. But you can see right there, that's where our object was. It comes out, you see the plasma that's right here is kind of hiding it. It's back in here is our bigger object, and these are little satellites that are going along with it. And that's the last frame right there. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and kind of put that into motion. And when it's in motion, it helps, it kind of helps distinguish stuff a little bit better. Our eyes are designed to detect motion more than just a solid, standing object. So when you put these things in motion, it's a lot clearer as to what's going on in there. All right, so there's your activity for today. Crazy, crazy stuff. All right, let's come on over to the solar ham. We'll be back to that instrument in a minute anyway. So here you go. Solar flux indices 183. It's up 5 points. Another 17 points, and it'll be into the red. So we're climbing, getting close to that, the threshold to be going into the red there. Meanwhile, sunspot numbers are 91, and they're down 12. So that's good. We're losing sunspots, and we're already in the green. That's great. Let's see if we got some updated data on this thing yet. Nope. Still looking at that old sunspot region. So you have to look at this ugly little black and white map. Regions that we'll be talking about tonight are 3917. That's kind of not center disk, but rounding off to the center disk here. So we'll be talking about that one. It's not really a good description on this black and white one. So let's just move on, shall we? Let's zoom in and see how fluxed we are. Goes X-ray flux, that is. Slide it over and scroll up. There we go. All right, thank you for your patience there. All right, there's your bumpy road. There's your bumpy path for today. You can see we had a couple of little M flares here, that one there and this one here. Okay, so overall the solar flux index is kind of low, but when we do have an interaction, it's so low that it only produces M flare activity. So that's good. All right, so good news to report on that end. And then there's a little bit of activity already going into tomorrow. You want to take a peek at that? You don't? Really? After seeing that activity right there, you don't want to see this little link right here, huh? Well, tough. We're going to do it anyway. Oh, well, maybe we shouldn't have, huh? Like 20 some odd frames here. You can see this flow still continuing here. See this? See this light bending right here? There's something still going on. You see this flow coming out and bending and going over? There's still something going on in this region out there. And our third bigger one, we just had two, so maybe this is our third one sneaking by. And these satellites, these other little moons, they react with the instrument and they kind of block what's going on with the bigger object. You got to remember the bigger object is just so massive that it absorbs light. It's really hard to see. And you can only see it when this plasma is draping over it. Much like water flowing over a rock in a river. The rock's not sticking up through the surface, and water's flowing over the top of a rock that's just under the surface, and you see bulges and water flow over it. These are much like the movement of water or flow of water. I'm not saying space is water, but these magnetic fields react much like fluid dynamics. So there's your little peek into tomorrow already. And now we're going to come back here. And there's your activity right there. There's Brad White. All right. Glad you made it, buddy. I like it when you keep coming back. All right, so we're zooming out. We're going to zoom over here to the 3-day geomagnetic forecast, all clear for the next 3 days, which is good. I'll take that all the time. You know me. I don't like to see geomagnetic activity because it absorbs into the planet, and then we have, well, volcanic and earthquake activity. So X-flare potential way down at 5%. That's okay. I'll take that too. Meanwhile, take a peek here. You see this little yellow strip right in there? Last time we had a yellow strip like that, and we were supposed to see a little yellow stripe on the KP in the next hours, but it didn't. So when we saw the last time we saw a little yellow here, it was like KP4. So we'll probably see a little jump in energy, a KP4 coming in. Now this wasn't up, forecasted. So we're having a slight geomagnetic storm, just slight, not much, but it is a little uptick. You can see this yellow stripe growing in there, and maybe we'll come over and check this out at the end of the show and see if it's reduced or if it's grown in strength. Okay. Meanwhile, backing out, you see your KP, it was to 2. It's kind of fluctuating down to here. I expect here pretty soon in the next reading or two here in the next few hours, we'll see a KP4. Maybe it will slightly higher, depends on how strong this one is. But here we go, no CME tracking, but below is an updated look at the visible disk on Saturday, December 7th, a date of infamy. Numerous mid to upper level C flares are being detected, with the majority being centered around AR 3912. Excuse me, I need to take a sit there. All right, AR 3912 in the southwest quadrant, and AR 3917, that one I pointed out, in the southeast. Now, AR 3917 appears to show some growth over the past 24 hours and will be monitored. And a number of potential regions in formation were also observed. Now, with those bigger objects approaching and all those little satellites that go along with them, we see an uptick in activity around the sun and an uptick in the magnitude of your flares, like M class, and X class. So we might see a little uptick until these things are done interacting with the sun and pull away, and then you'll see these sunspot regions diminish. So we don't need to get too far there. So let's just move on. I got a lot of other stuff to get to, so we're just kind of going to blaze through this a little bit. Now, increasing threat of flares. That's just what I was talking about. Solar activity has been low for more than a week, and that could change this weekend. Sunspot 3917, again, is growing rapidly with an increasingly complex magnetic field that harbors energy for strong explosions. Beta gamma, I think, right? 3917. Oh, sorry. Beta delta. Uh-oh. So usually they go beta gamma before they get a delta configuration. This one's a beta delta. It doesn't have the gamma component yet, but delta already. So it does harbor. And if it's growing like that, yeah, we might see a little something out of that one. All right, back to this though. 3917 is growing rapidly with an increasingly complex field that harbors energy for strong explosions. If current trends continue, it could soon break the silence with the significant flare. And that's what I was going to talk about a little bit too, is if those were the other objects were the first 2 big ones, and we usually see 3 at a time, 3 in a row or whatever, well, we could possibly be entertaining right now the 3rd one right here and its little moons, and when it finally, interacts with the sun, we could still see this change to beta gamma delta, and we would see, possible X flare out of that region. But it looks like it's already kind of underway and it really hasn't popped much. So that's good. You can come over and read about the eclipse mission. That's other stuff we got to get to. You can go on your own time. We got more to get to. Now, over here at the Schumann, everybody pay attention. look at your human. All right. Now, the last time I did a show was not last night, night before. I had a little episode last night. Anyways, we got a lot of activity for the last 3 days, basically, and you can see that very intense. Then it stops, and it gets intense. Then back to lower, intense. So it's this roller coaster ride of intense and then weak. See, something happened here. We had yeah, there you go. We had a buildup of pressure down below at the core. That causes heat, and heat expands. Heat expands the core and the outer core start to grind, and that's what this is, the grinding. When the pressure's released, it stops grinding, and we get good continuity for just a second right there. But then pressure builds again, and then it releases. Build, release. So it's this roller coaster ride. And then look at this gap right here where it just was intense. Some big release happened right around here. Okay. Whether it was a volcano or, earthquake flurry or whatever, there was a big release of energy right there. Then it built up, released, built up. It's just this roller coaster ride of up and down, up and down, up and down. So for the last 3 days, it has been an intense roller coaster ride. And I don't know about you guys, but I haven't had much sleep. I've only had 8 hours of sleep in the last 3 days. So forgive me if I sound a little tired. I'm exhausted, to tell you the truth. So this can wreak havoc on your body, on your emotions, on a lot of stuff. Okay, so this is also an indication of pressure down below at the core. We're absorbing energy at the in the magnetic field. It's being directed to the poles absorb it down to the core, and the core being made out of metal, well, when it heats up, it expands. Well, it's rotating inside of a hollow ball, the shell, and the gap between the core and the shell wall, there's a gap in there, and that gap is very close, and it's closing up, and that's when the core and the shell start to grind. You're looking at grinding, stop, and grinding, stop, and grinding. Now, this emits low frequency waves from these from the core up through the mantle, through the magma, hits the underside of the crust, and these low frequency waves penetrate the crust and emit out into space. Now, they go out in every direction out into space, and then they hit the magnetic field or the ionosphere, and they bounce back down. They bounce back down like an echo, much like you hear an echo off of a wall that's, across the field. If you make a loud whistle, a second later, you'll hear it bounce off the wall that's, 300 yards away. That's much like what this is doing. This detects the echoes that are bouncing around up there, and this is the indication of what's going on down at the core. Okay, so pressure building up. It also wreaks havoc on your regular Schumann 7.83. We want just good continuity, one smooth green line, none of this white stuff. This is just wreaking havoc. Okay, so you guys have been actually handling it quite well. I bet a lot of you are probably a little sore, a little exhausted. It's been a lot going on in the news as far as stuff like that. We give you anxiety. This doesn't help either. Okay, you got Christmas with all the shopping and stuff like that. So this can wreak havoc on your emotions and on you. So we're going to do the spiritual report, and that's why, because this is going on in the background without you being in control of it. Well, I'm going to show you how you can deal with it and kind of control it a little bit. Now, we will move back to this instrument in a minute. So let me open up the null school here, get this report done. You guys doing okay out there? It's kind of quiet in that chat room. You see your intertropical convergence zone right here. It's not such a defined line, kind of spreading out and diffusing, getting a little weak in this area. So your intertropical convergence zone that was pushed way up here to this latitude is kind of crumbling, coming away, falling apart, but it's still not down at the equator. You can see we're not even at, well, this is at the surface right here. So this is not even up at storm height. Let's go up to storm height and just take a peek at that bad boy. Oh, yeah, there's probably some thermal vortex out on the ocean right now causing that. What the heck? You see that face? Big old red nose, bruised eye, weird smile. All right, moving on. Moving on. What else did I want to talk about here? Oh, we're just kind of going around. All right, I showed you the storm. We talked a couple of days ago about the storm that was approaching Ireland and Britain, and that was in the intro. There was the storm hitting them. So this stuff is well, it's happening. You're seeing it. That's all evidence of what I've been showing you here. All right, we're just kind of taking a peek around. First off, let's go way up top and check out our polar vortex because we've been having some issues with this right off the get-go. Whoa. All right, there we go. Now, we saw it before. It was going straight across like this down below here. Let me zoom in. Remember, it was going from the Mexican border here straight across Florida. Well, now it's shifted. Now we have another like sub vortex over here that is, changed the shape of this. We also have a sub vortex right here. Now, if I kind of do it like this, if we can get, you can see our main vortex right here with two little sub ones. So it's still not one organized thing yet. It has a little bit of, these guys stripping and warping the shape of it as well. When we come in here on America, you can see that it's just taking this slice right down to the midsection of the country, doing a 180 and heading back out. So that's your polar vortex. Now, when we go down a little lower, this is your upper jet stream. It's going to be all wonky and looking all crazy because, well, we're not only are we in transition season heading towards winter now, but we also have the thermal convection induction coming off the ocean. So this is going to be all wonky for a long time. Your lower jet stream right here, your lower jet is what usually the storms ride on these, go up and follow the jet stream. All right, and that's what was in control of the weather. The weather rode these jet streams. Well, now we're starting to see our thermal effects in the water are actually controlling our weather, and even kind of so the jet stream, the lower jet. So there's your setup right there for now. We've had this like little ridge that's been protecting this area for a while now, and there's a reason. All right, now let's just get back, and where are we going next? Oh, sand, yeah. Sandstorm. Over a year-long sandstorm, just one long sandstorm for a year plus, just coming off Africa, blowing out into the Atlantic. Sometimes it goes up here. Well, right now, you see we got some good intense plume. It's more intense out here in the ocean than it is over Africa. Look at that. All right, but what happens is the sand gets blown across this zone right through here, and this is where a lot of your hurricane genesis or birthing happens, is in this hot water region right there. Well, sand, being a particulate, also collects water and makes raindrops, but the sand is a little heavier than your ash. So those raindrops are heavier. They don't climb so high in the atmosphere and make taller thunderheads. So it quells the height of thunderheads, which quells your hurricane production. So sand is kind of quenching the hurricane production or hampering it. And we got a good little plume coming out. All right. Getting drawn way up into... Hey, look out, Iceland. You're about to have a sandstorm. It just sounds crazy, but we're in that season, and you be the judge. I'll let you be the judge of this. Okay, it's not a strong sandstorm, but look how it's creeping up towards Iceland. Oh my. All right. Meanwhile, over here, Oh, ugh, I don't want to look. Here, I'm going to spin it this way. You guys take a look while I grab a cigarette. Oh, dear Lord. There it is. Okay. Mm, mm. So you can see what's sandstorm going on over here. Hopefully you can't see what I do, but it's still there and it's pissed. So very intense, not very intense, but still widespread sandstorm going on in this region. Oh my god, I gotta get away from that. We got Australia having its own sandstorm there. Oh boy, I've just been dealing with that stuff all day, so it's like sometimes it's so trying to do the show to get away from it. But there you go. Hopefully you don't see it. But there's your sandstorm report right there. Whew. Well, good one in my stomach right there. All right, where we going, Lord? Yeah, SO2. Whew. Spiritual warfare is a bitch sometimes. All right. As you can see, there's no defining line going down the middle anymore that we used to see all the time. It's kind of blending together. It's more like this, somebody smeared that line like a painter. You've seen those paintings where they take a wooden board and they, while the paint's wet, and they smear the painting a little bit. It gives a dragged out effect. Kind of looks like that's happening here. Anyway, as we get into this, the right half of the country is more porous, softer crust, so you're seeing a lot more emission sites. On the left side here, this is more thick, granite, mountainous, tough, thick crust. And the emission sites we see on this side are usually volcanic in nature or, emission site. Now, what I'm going to do just quickly, because we do get an uptick in fires when we get an uptick in pressure. And now all this fire activity in this region is diminished. It's gone. Okay. Really don't see any to report. These little red ones don't count. All right, good. No fires. Good, 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 good. Whoa. Where we go? My chemicals. Come back here. All right, no fires. Take the fires off of there. Bio. All right, there we go. Something. Sorry about that, folks. Thank you for your patience. Steven's like, oof, look at that. Yeah. Wait until you see it in the sky, in your face, chasing you down everywhere you go. It's not a comfortable feeling. But when you got strength and you got Christ, nothing can stop you. Okay. Here we go. Hawaii, the hub of the Pacific Rim, emitting SO2. Wait, we're going the wrong direction. Sorry. I'm all over the place. You can tell I'm a little exhausted. 8 hours of sleep in 3 days is anyway. Cuba, Jamaica, volcanic islands, all spewing SO2. Top of South America, all individual sites coming down this coast. This area is starting to kind of fill in with the little dots again. It was kind of bald and naked for a while. These little spots are starting to fill in. And then right next to it is our fulcrum point. So this area is starting to fill in again. Fulcrum point looking nice and strong right now. The other one, not so much. But all 5 are there. Not that one, not so defined. So a little uptick in pressure in that region. And we come down the coast. You see this is all intense emission sites blowing a lot of SO2 into a big plume out into the Pacific there. Now we got stuff on this side that's going on as well. All right, and then we're going to pull on back, scooch on over, and come on over to this side. Adjust for their daytime. Okay, now over here you can see China, very porous, soft, mushy crust over here too. Very course, a lot of SO2 coming out of that region. No wonder why they're insane, losing their minds. They're brain dead from all that poisoning. I don't know. It's a poisonous gas. Not good to be breathing this in. I'll tell you what, it's like drinking fluoride, if you know what I mean. There we go. Japan, being a volcanic island, has SO2 emission sites. We're coming over here to Taiwan, dropping into Taiwan. You see, it's got some pretty healthy emissions. This is all stuff blown off the coast, but there is your emissions there. Still relieving, not enough earthquake activity out of that region anymore, so we're seeing more SO2 emissions. Here we are, a very dark purple island of Java tonight. So that's an indication of pressure going on down below. The darker this is more pressure pushing out more gas. Okay, so it's an indication of lots of pressure coming to the surface. Now, these guys taking the wrong path. These guys have taken the wrong path. These guys have taken the wrong path. And it shows. We're having SO2 emissions all throughout all these different countries, especially ones that took the wrong path, we'll say. Some of these emission sites are on fire, okay? They're emitting more than SO2. Some of these sites are methane, and methane being a combustible gas, all it needs is oxygen. So coming out of the ground at thousands of degrees, it's already at the temperature for spontaneous combustion. All it needs is oxygen. It doesn't even need a spark. It just needs oxygen. As soon as it breaks the surface of the crust and hits the air, poof, instant flame. So some of these emission sites there's these SO2 ones, and some other ones are methane sites that are, not shown on this map, but there are methane sites out there that are on fire. Maybe they should come over and watch my show, and maybe they should take a peek at the sandstorm report. Maybe they figure out what's going on. And that's very faint compared to what it looked like before. Some of you saw it before with the raging eyes. Anyway, back to our chemicals. So yeah, they're getting the sulfur treatment. Okay, coming on down. There's Java. We're coming on over to this region. Just really quickly to talk about our pencil-shaped island, which will come in our earthquake report. Here's Fiji, your deep quake region, spewing SO2 as well. Tonga and the other areas as well. But that's a little relief valve, keeping pressure down right at the plate boundary entrance. Right where pressure likes to come and start emitting or start relieving at the surface. A lot of this being relieved right here. So keep that in the back of your mind. Enough SO2. I think we covered all the bases pretty much. I want to get over here to our sea surface temperature anomalies. Now, everybody take a deep breath. Hold it for a second and exhale. There you go. Remember, even though this is disturbing, it does not change your victory. Now you see volcanic activity in the ocean floor is causing hot water plumes. These are hot water anomalies up in the North Pacific while we're in winter, heading towards wintertime. Volcanic activity. Okay. Over here, let's talk about our region that everybody's been talking about and all wants to know about. All right. So that's why you come here. Now, we have seen quake activity in the Juan de Fuca over the last couple of weeks. Up in this region, we had a big patch of pressure and heat in this area. We had earthquake activity in this region that relieved the heat signature. We had a big rotating vortex here, a Category 4 hurricane sitting off the coast of the Pacific here. And it was all because of the configuration of our thermal hotspots. Now that we had earthquake activity, it relieved some of the pressure in that region, allowing that thermal productivity to diminish, allowing cold water intrusion. When there's hot water relief, cold water wants to rush in and replace it. So you get cold water, intrusion right up to the Juan de Fuca, right there. Okay. Then a day before, we were talking the day before the earthquake. We were at this blob right here talking about a new signature of heat that has opened up just south of the Juan de Fuca. Here's your Juan de Fuca. It's just south of it, just off the Northern California coast down to the Bay Area region. So this region doesn't need to be put on alert by me. You can look at the map. I don't need to say, hey, alert for this area. You are wise enough to look at this map and understand why. This is why we had the earthquake and are continuing to see swarm activity in that region, because there's pressure down below trying to come up to the surface. Here's a weak spot. And now it's found a path of least resistance. And you see there's a yellow spot that's growing even more and more. Look at all this down in here is growing in intensity. Ooh, it's reaching up into here now. See this? Watch out, LA and everything. You see how it's encroaching on this little almond-shaped or teardrop-shaped structure. It's already inside that structure. So you're going to start. We already saw earthquake out by Catalina Island in that region, because we have a creeping in of pressure and heat from down below. Also down here too, there's a little pocket. Now, over the course of the other day, after seeing some earthquake activity, we did see a reduction in the size of this heat signature, and I'm going to try to do this. Come over to the calendar. I want you to still keep your eye on the size of this heat signature right here. We're going to go back, it's going into the 7th. So I want to put it, let's go back to the 4th. Well, the 4th was right after the earthquake. And so watch the size. So this is right before the earthquake. Then we had the earthquake on this day, I think. This map, well, the now button is a day behind, but these days on the calendar are the actual days. So we just looked at the 12. We're at the 4th, at the 5th. All right, so here we go. Watch that area as we go to the 6th. All right, so we're stopped at the 6th. The last day is the 5th. So, okay. All right, so that's the 5th. That's our latest data. All right, we're going to go backward in time just a little bit here. Oh, wait, I know what I can do. Can we go right here? Yeah, so that was a day ago, 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, because this map is a day behind. You can see our dates right here. 12/4/2024. Okay, so there's the 4th. There's the 3rd. This is where I was telling you, watch out. We're going to see, or we're seeing, a new area of heat here on the north coast. Then we start to go. So that was the 3rd. There's the 4th. There's the 5th. Now the 6th. You see this area diminish in size. Pressure has been relieved in this area because of the earthquake swarm, but it's not gone yet. As of yesterday, this is still a day behind. Unfortunately, so much data goes into compiling this map, it's a day behind. So that was your pressure yesterday. You saw a reduction from the day before yesterday to yesterday since that quake. Okay, and there's your reduction in pressure. Okay, now I don't have to use a calendar. I can use this little button. So let's go. Day before it, the day before that, day before the quake, the day before my report. See how it kind of flared up? We had our quake, and then it goes back down. Whoops. Okay, so there's your temperature, pressure in this area. Okay, sorry we had to do that, but I think a lot of people wanted to know and wanted to see that. This is why I always invite you to come over to this instrument and play around with this. Click on this. Try looking around. Go look at this thing because sometimes I can't do a report. I am in the middle of combat. I cannot just drop people that I'm rescuing and do a show. So sometimes I can't make it. And it's good that you guys get familiar with this so you can kind of do your own investigating. You connect your own dots on most of you guys know. I'm sorry, I'm just exhausted. Here we go. Hotspots in the bay. Hotspot running all the way up there. Very speckled around this region. Growing really hot along the coastline right here and up into the Mediterranean. Look at this. Look at this, you guys. Back here behind Spain, all along the coast of Africa. They're starting to see emission sites all along here. Down here. Ooh, spot's getting nasty. All right, here's Java region. We usually see, a lot of relief out of this area. It's doing the best it can, but I'm starting to see a little yellow spot right back here in this little bay right here. So that's an indication that underneath this island, especially in this quadrant right here, pressure's building, and there's a new spot trying to open up right there. Not too far offshore. Here's your plate boundary right through there. That's where we're seeing yellow was coming out of the plate boundary. It looked like it was actually leaking lava out of the boundary, but that activity is diminished, probably closed up, cooled off, and sealed up. And a new spot just outside of it has opened up. More over here. See it along the coast there. But a lot of pressure being relieved in this region right here. And look, we're getting cold water inundation. With all this hot water around, we're actually having pockets of cold water inundation right here through this area where we're seeing a lot of volcanic activity. Okay, even look. Here is our little volcanic chain that right along the plate boundary. You're seeing cold water inundation right on that plate boundary. These volcanoes are relieving some kind of pressure, and it's a little indicator right there. Wow, look at this mess. Oh, no, you didn't. I can't even say that. We'll, maybe we won't address that subject. Let's just pray for these people right here, okay? And the people on this coast too. Pray for the people on all the coastlines of the world, really. Whew. Here we go. Our La Nina's struggling to come back. You can see these individual little pockets are getting weaker and weaker. They're still there. They're still disrupting it, but you can see this cold water is trying to make a comeback here for La Nina. Look at this weird configuration. Heat plume, cold, and heat plume. This is going to be a inducer of rotation right here. And if any kind of rotation starts, it could get pulled right up across this. And our air activity is actually taking it up into that region. Oh no, we got a different flow right now. I want to now's flow. That's now's flow right there. Oh, thankfully, this is drawing stuff down. We better watch out. There could be any moment induced vorticity because of these two regions being so dramatically opposed to each other and so close. Look at this. Here's coming rotation right there. Luckily, this energy is being pulled down because we don't want to see something get pulled up into this flow. All it has to do is gain a little strength right there, get pulled into that. We can see Hurricane Genesis right here instead of out in the Atlantic. Okay, shut up and just show them the conveyor belts, Brian. Pretty wonky stuff right here, huh? Cold water cooling off, rushing in to where hot air is rising, or cool air, sorry. Wow, look at this over here. What the heck? So we got a new flow pattern going on over here for sure. You see these rotations? Let me just leave it right there. All right. Over warm water, warm air. Over cold water, cool air. Hot air rises, cold air rushes in to replace it, and you can see our conveyor belt structures that have been induced by the volcanic activity on the ocean floor. I never believed I'd have to report this stuff, but you're looking at it, folks. It's the real deal, and that's what's causing our strange, wonky weather. It's no longer, our jet stream patterns that control the weather. You've got volcanic activity, which produces ash, by the way, which are particulates that water adheres to, making more rain droplets. So that conveyor belt structure is just all of our weather is riding on those bands. Now, give me just 1 second. Now, we're gonna move on from this, but we'll leave the wind off, and we'll leave these thermal patterns right here for right now, because we'll be coming back to this in our earthquake report. Forgive me there. I have to step away for a second. So, latest earthquakes. Let's get her done, son. So, everybody been talking about this quake swarm. They all got their different ideas and stuff. That's fine. We can agree to disagree. But I know a lot of people are interested in my perspective on it, so we'll get into that in just a minute. If we can get cooperation out of this map, please. Good enough. Deep quake region, okay, pressure from down below. When the core absorbs a bunch of heat and it swells and grinds, it heats up that outer core. Heat transfers from the outer core into the magma. The magma then heats and expands and swells and pushes on the underside of the crust. All those plate boundaries are weak spots, right? They're already cracks in the eggshell. It's like over boiling an egg, and all the innards expand and crack the egg and come out all the cracks. So pressure wants to come out all the already preformed cracks that are already there. Deep quake region, pressure comes up to this spot right here. This usually, it looks like it was once the bottom of the world at one time, or the top. At one time, there was rotation here that has caused this whole geologic feature. Deep quake region, mid-range 4, down at 479. That's not super deep, but that's a deep quake. It's our mid-range 4 activity, which puts 5 energy at the surface. We come over to this plate boundary. What do we got? 5 energy at the surface, a little stronger actually, 5.4 on that plate boundary. Okay, so little pressure coming up, stronger magnitude coming into this region. This is where we would used to see, our mid-range 4 and then 5 activity. Finally, we are seeing a quake in this region. A 4.6, but this is down at 93. This is not on a plate boundary. So it doesn't count as a 5 at the surface. Even though it's in this region, it doesn't count as that because this is down at 93. This is on a volcanic feature. It's on one of these little seamounts out here. Okay, next little island in line to form or whatever. Down underneath it is your mid-range 4 activity. Okay, there's so much pressure coming up that even this little relief valve that has the SO2 emissions is not enough. All the volcanic activity through this region is not enough relief, and we're finally starting to see buildup pressure being vented at a volcanic site instead of at the surface. Interesting quake right there. have to find out what happened there. Now, coming into this little deep pocket, this little region sometimes has deep quakes, but not today. This is 5.1 at the surface, okay? 5 energy at the surface. Right, right next to it, another 5, a little deeper down. That's a volcanic feature. Earthquake and a volcanic feature is an indicator of pressure down below. It wants to come out that volcanic feature, but it can't. It's plugged, so it takes the nearest path of least resistance on the flank or around the base of it sometimes. All right. Multiple fulcrum points in this one giant fulcrum point, okay? It's pushing this way, obviously, but then there's an angle this way, an angle that way. So we have kind of this radial point right here with multiple fulcrum points coming out in all directions, kind of. Well, in a half moon shape like that. Just off of that pressure, it is right here, 4.5 down at 38. Now, over here in the Himalayas, these aren't all volcanic. This is really thick crust that's been pushed up high into the air. So you're seeing a little bit deeper quake here because the crust is so thick there. Okay. 4.5 down at 38. But it's pretty close. 4.4 at the surface here in China. This is a little weaker. This is that lake region in the fault, that fault zone area through here. So pressure underneath right in this region here came up, cracked something right there, and then finally made it to the surface there. We come along this, wow, right in the Himalayas here, 4.1 down at 35. See that? Very interesting. 3 quakes basically in this Himalaya area. These are the foothills of the Himalayas. Ow. Thank you. Now, sorry, I get sharp pains every once in a while. All right, so 4.576, again, volcanic island, the whole thing, one big bar, sandbar of volcanoes. So 4.5 right outside of Tokyo there. Coming up here to the Kamchatka Peninsula, we see all kinds of active, currently erupting volcanoes through this region. So much pressure coming out of this region, we're still seeing mid-range 4s in a volcanic feature. 1 on each side of the fulcrum point, 4.5 and 4.2. That one's at the surface. Okay, really quick, I wanted to come back to this Java region. No quakes today. We have a lot of volcano activity here. You saw these little seamounts off here having thermal plumes coming out of them. Here, let's go over to Java. Okay, so just off the coast of Java, those are more out here. So, a lot of pressure, or no earthquake in this region because we got so much volcano, so much SO2, and now we have Krakatoa, or the son of Krakatoa, going off. It had a pretty good explosion, so that's a very dangerous volcano. That one has changed the course of history in human history. It's the one that darkened the planet for a year. Okay, let's finish up the rest of the world, and then we'll dive into America. Oh, just really quick, plate boundary, 5 something, 5.8. There's a little uptick at the plate boundary, 5.8 right there. Fulcrum point right here, 4.2, 4.7, 4.5. So much SO2 emissions along this region, it keeps quake magnitudes down. We're not seeing big old giant 8.0s and stuff out there, 9s. Oh, we got a good one up here at Iceland, a 5.2 at Iceland. Oh boy, what does that tell you? Lots of pressure going on there, volcanic activity, and an earthquake at the surface. Relieved some pressure there, though. We're gonna hop into all magnitude America. Tell you what, I was enjoying my freedom today. Okay, again with this one, you're 4.2 coming into this side of the plate boundary region. There's energy, pushing up underneath this whole area. Also, 4.3, similar magnitude, basically the same magnitude all through this region. Okay, that's a good indication of an even pressure distribution through that area. You can see it come right up the front side of the fulcrum point and not much down the back side. See that? Whoops. Let me just see if we can capture this. Well, I guess you can't if I keep bouncing all over the place. But hopefully you can see it just came right up like that and just kind of halted. There is one little quake right here. 2.6. Look how quiet the top part of the Juan de Fuca is. Not much activity at all in this region because all the pressure's down at this end. Okay, let me get this set up really quick. Come back over here, Pacific Northwest. Pull this over. You guys are so patient. All right, so you can see that we've had a fair amount right here, all on the south, most of it on the southern side of the plate boundary, huh? Well, let me just get that red line in there. So there's the red line. You can see there's a lot of activity that's south of it, not on the line. There's activity on the other side over here, on the other side of the line, but a lot of this activity is not on the plate boundary. It's just south of it. And let me just kind of do something like this really quick. Let's go 7 days, all magnitude, all the quakes in that area over the course since it happened. A lot of these are way down below the plate boundary, right where here's your plate boundary comes out right there, and here's this bulb of pressure that's right underneath it. That's where all your quakes are, right through there, aren't they? Aren't they? Yeah. You guys understand how this works. It's simple stuff. It's just everybody refuses to, we're stuck in our scientific theory that we were, force fed in school and college, whatever. Clearly see what's going on. For those with eyes that see and half a brain. Anyways, I want to touch base with our latest quake, latest magnitude. This is a magnitude check. Okay, we are checking for magnitude. There are 22 people in this room, 22 likes and a 2.2. A lot of twos. 2 seems to be a theme here. Maybe the second go around, the second time. He comes back again for 2.0. There's a 2.5 on this little lake again. This is a very dangerous structure that they went and you can see these flanks of sand reach down to the bottom of the lake. This is a peninsula of sand sticking up through the lake. Any kind of shaking out here, this whole structure could slough and fall away and just liquefy right into the water. And we're seeing all kinds of quake activity and tremor activity around this structure. Here we have a 2.5, pretty close to the surface. 7.2, that's right underneath this thing. I'm of the idea that a lot of these quakes in this region are the breaking down of this structure deeper down in the strata. Just underneath it, 7 kilometers down, it's collapsing. Sinkholes are falling away. There's other little ripples and stuff happening, and we're getting tremor activity around this thing. I'm telling you, one good quake in this region, and that neighborhood is going to wind up down here on the bottom of that lake. Any kind of liquefaction, it's gone. Very dangerous situation right there, but I don't think they're going to warn the people. I'll try to warn them, but I want to take a peek up. Look at this. Nothing. Well, they don't report on the weekends. Nothing through the volcanoes. Probably was. All right, now our teardrop structure here. You can see it comes out here, comes right in, hooks up with the plate boundary. The plate boundary is the backside of the teardrop, all the way down to the gulf here. You can see this rounding off effect. It kind of comes back into here. So this big old eye-shaped, teardrop-shaped structure right there is where now we're starting to see this reaching back in that region. A while back, there was yellow off the coast here, which was causing, bigger magnitude earthquakes in the LA region. Now we're starting to see this finger reaching up into that region, so we can see an uptick of earthquakes down in here too. So far, it's been kind of quiet in that region because we have a new path of least resistance, a new hole in the bicycle tube, and it's not a slow leak. This is like you ran over a big old piece of glass, and it's a gaping hole in the side of the inner tube, and it's bleeding out a bunch of pressure, maybe even faster than you can pump it in. So we got a good old bleeder here, bleeding out pressure, keeping magnitudes down in the nearby region. We come over here, we do see activity right now because we got the Schumann grinding away, heat coming up. Meantime, 2.0, 2.0, that's what I was saying. Second go around, 2.0, like, like Exodus 2.0. Coming over here, we just had an earthquake in South Carolina, 2.1 today. That's close to the surface here. What's going on here? Sorry, we're just going to have to do it this way, my computers. Dead, revived, and the Walking Dead computer that somehow shouldn't be doing this, but it's working still. I don't see any kind of geologic feature. It's man doing something there. Here's your diverse quake, you guys. Yeah, there's nothing around. Yep, pressure underneath, pushing on the underside of the crust. There's a new path of least resistance here. This is a spot to like put a little thumbtack on. I wish I had a little thumbtack thing Dutch does. But this is Centerville. Place to remember, okay? Because when we get a new spot like this is a diverse quake in a place that doesn't happen. So it's a new pathway of least resistance. So on next go around, when pressure builds up, that might be one spot to watch for an earthquake. Not a big magnitude, devastating one, but that would be a new path of least resistance opening up there. We covered the rest. Oh, really quick here. 4.9 down at 160. You know what we do with 4.9s here. Just because. A lot of fives going on. Uptick in pressure, while uptick in magnitude while we have a bleeder. Okay, I call this one a bleeder because it's just bleeding out pressure. When I showed you all those quakes over the course of the week, that's a lot of magnitude over being released at one spot. So you can see how it took all that area up here that was in red. This was all red and yellow for a while, and now it's all blue because pressure's been relieved in that area. We could still see quake activity in the Juan de Fuca in this region up in here, but it'll be lower magnitude, I think, because when you see there's no heat, no pressure in this region, it's all south of this line. So this will continue until we see a diminishing of this region right here. And I showed you it diminished over the last few days. So maybe a couple more days and this will disappear and we'll see our quakes kind of taper off. But that's the reason why we had our quake right there. Okay. Not going and trying to predict quakes when and where, but showing you how it works. So when one happens here, it won't surprise you. You will understand why it happened and how it worked. Whew, moving on. Sometimes I repeat myself, I guess. I'm going on adrenaline and, well, sheer will. Exhaustion is, that was a couple of days ago. We're into a new realm of just insanity. Speaking of insanity, 37 erupting volcanoes. Currently erupting. We have 37 that are just bleeding out, currently erupting. Another 33 that are active, and people are warned around them. Okay, so I'm just using those two numbers. We got 27 at unrest. What unrest means is active. But I'm not even counting those. I'm counting these ones. So a conservative estimate, let's just go 70 active volcanoes, all right? Truly active too, if not currently erupting. Now, 7 years ago, right around the Revelation 12 star alignment, in that time frame, right back and then, you know what I'm talking about? That time frame 7 years ago, what I've been telling you about. If I'd have told you back then, when we had one volcano, 7 years from now, we're going to have 70 volcanoes, you would have laughed. You would have said, dude, Brian, you are crazy. Well, here we are. 7 years later, and we have 70 volcanoes, and yes, I am still crazy about you. Let's dance. Okay. Do not look at that map of insanity. You will get desensitized to it. Ibu, I be with you. Ibu volcano. No height, but can 9,000 feet. I be with you at 7,000. Usually it's 8, but a little lower there. Semaru, our main indicator here, 14. Okay, that was just a minute ago, 14. Dukono, 14. Popocatépetl, 22. Uh-oh, so Popocatépetl shoving it up to 20, over 20,000 feet. So 22,000 feet. There's an uptick right there. Santo Guido, Fuego, no missions. Sangay, 20,000. There's a little higher one. That was just in the last few minutes. Do you see this? This is today. Here's December 7th, which is, well, now yesterday, because time flies at this channel, I'm telling you. Okay, so getting into it. Here is your map of insanity. Here's your volcanoes all along this region, that part of the plate boundary, keeping magnitudes down in that region. Zvarensky up here going off. All through the Kamchatka. This, I got to read this really quick because all of these are currently erupting in this peninsula. Shivaluz, Kluchevskoy, Bizamani, Karaminsky, Alade, and Ebiko. All of those right there are all currently erupting right there, and that just one patch right there is bleeding out a lot of pressure on the planet. All of these are all relieving pressure because they're currently erupting. And every time we get a new round from the sun, most of these just have big blasts come out of them. And that's what we do. We come through here and we just start going, look at that. Strong explosion from Dukono. Look at all this ash going up into the air. Imagine all this ash now clinging to all the water vapor in the area and producing a violent storm right after it. Weather induced by a volcano. Yeah. 9,000 feet out of Canleon. Ibu, 6,000 Semaru, 14 still. Dukono. Coming up the bottom, Popo, 22, Santa Guido, Fuego, 16, Nevada del Ruiz, 19. And, okay, that's it. Good. All right, we'll kind of blaze through these a little fast tonight. But, again, it's important that you understand these heights. Every time we get a new round of pressure from down below, these heights go higher because of more pressure. That blasts them higher. Now I saw that. Come back here. Acid rain. Do you want me to show the acid rain map on the thing really quick? Should I talk about that, Hopkinson? Just really quick. I'm going to touch base with this really quick. Over here on our chemicals, no, actually particulates, my bad. On our particulates is SO4. We did an SO2 report. Let's do an SO4. Okay, so SO4 comes out of the ground. Okay, a lot of these volcanoes are emitting SO2, SO4. Man-made gas also is pollutant, SO4, but it's not the emission sites that we're worried about. It's this chemical part is a particulate. Now, water adheres to the particulate and creates a raindrop, right? Instead, with this particulate, the water fuses with the particulate. Instead of adhering to it, it actually bonds with it and makes a chemical bond. Now, SO4 bonds with H2O, creating a new chemical compound called H2SO4. Go look it up. It's sulfuric acid. Go look it up. H2O plus SO4 creates a compound called H2SO4. You drop one oxygen molecule is excreted out into the air in the process. So what you're looking at is SO4, and it adheres to water. Well, what's in your storms? What are storms made up of? Clouds, right? Water vapor, right? You're looking at acid rain in your storms. You're looking at sulfuric storms, acid storms. And look around the world. There's no place safe. Do I tell them about the oh boy. Sure, why not? Okay, there's a really bad scenario that happens when this fusion process occurs in the right amounts. It has to be at proper balance. SO4 combining with H2O can actually catch on fire and snap and crackle and explode. So you could see your air on fire, with the burning component being the sulfur, burning the oxygen off the water molecule, your H2O. Yeah. Raining fire. Yeah. Sulfuric acid. Great stuff. They should have taught you this in chemistry. Or maybe they did and you just weren't paying attention that day. But there's your, yeah, I can't look at that too long. I don't like doing that report too much. But every once in a while, we do have to touch base with this map because you are looking at SO4, extinction aerosol. Extinction. Nice term. And it's all over. And it's the only place it, wasn't. The only place it, wasn't was Antarctica, but you can see that, yeah. Oh, there's a place that doesn't have any. Clear up here on the top of this mountain right there. No, I'm just saying it's all the way around the world. It's northern, southern hemisphere. It's important that you understand. You're welcome, Hopkinson. Thank you for reminding me to do that too, because every once in a while we got to touch base with that. All right, and go do chemistry lab. Go experiment around. Unfortunately, this stuff can catch fire and turn the air into fire. Now, we're going away from that and back to our volcanoes. In lighter news, we have volcanoes. And a pretty girl in an ad. All right, we're done with the volcanoes too. All right, good. So let's do, you guys have been so good. Let me get you a tidbit. Do you need a cookie? Do you need a tidbit? Let's get you a little tidbit right here. A tropical tidbit, that is. Up a little tidbit. I'm going to check out some models while you guys watch the weather. Sorry, I'm just a guy. All right, here we go. Nighttime, current conditions, December 7th, a date that will live in infamy. Do you know why December 7th is a date that lives in infamy? I hope you do. I hope you guys know about Pearl Harbor. And now on the anniversary, we have another date to remember thanks to what's going on over in Syria. So another kind of Pearl Harbor moment on a December 7th, violating a sacred day. And yeah, we're just hideous creatures, aren't we? All right. December 7th, nighttime, current conditions. Got this cold thing up here and this thing moving in over there. So there's your morning time of the 8th, noon, convection. Oh, do you see these two? Nothing going on, nothing to see here. Oh, we're just behaving. There's the nighttime of December 8th. Nothing to see here. We're just behaving. Morning of the 9th. Oh, we're just holding hands. We're not kissing or nothing. There's the noon time of the 9th. Oh, we may have we may have done a little more than kissing, and we made some ice pellets, okay? And we're continuing to make ice pellets and severe weather down at the bottom here by the convection of the 9th. There's the morning of the 10th, or night of the 9th, morning of the 10th, noon, convection, nighttime. Yeah. Okay, when the cold air mass pulls away, you see this tail. All right, this is pulling. It's also as it it leaves the area, it draws other air with it along, and it's drawing that warm, moist air that's around the Gulf right here that I showed you on the thermals. Cold air on the back side of this. You see all this area coming down to here. It's all cold air, and you got cold air up at the top, so it's just ripping that air right up with it. Yeah, you guys like me. All right. I am funny looking, maybe. All right, there we go. This morning time convection, these QLC, these QLCSs. I love you guys laughing. These linear storm fronts, quasi-linear convective storm front right there. Okay, we get spin ups along these, and out in front of these linear structures or pop-ups that can be dangerous. And this is morning time convection. This isn't because of the sun. This is air mass collision causing convection at cool air in the morning. From the cool air at nighttime, cool air in the morning. There's noon, the 11th, and bingo, convection, December 11th. Yeah. Let's talk about how we only go out 3 days on this forecast. This forecast goes out, 16 days. I only like to go 3 days deep because of activity on the sun that can interfere and create different changes. This is going to be the 8th, and this is the 11th. This is well within that 3 days. Okay? I'm going to put a warning out right now. You guys better start taking this seriously right here, because it's getting close. And if you don't, and this happens, you're going to be caught off guard. Let's go back a little bit. What I'm going to look for here, the morning of December 10th, okay, if we get this kind of activity going on, we start to see quasi-linear storm fronts coming off the Gulf and streaming up the tail of this cold front. If we see this activity starting to happen around convection here, because this is a good time where you see it really kind of get organized. If that process from right here to right there if we see this by December 10th, I would start getting ready for that event right there, because it's only a couple more clicks away, a couple more hours away. Deep snow, really intense deep snow. We're talking super high winds. We're talking a quasi-linear storm front with snow in the back, thunder snow, large hail, high winds, flash flooding, power outages, major power outages, all through that whole thing. The whole process of this thing as it goes up the coast. A buzzsaw of destruction going right through there. Watch the yellow line. Boom, all the way up through there. And then this at nighttime. That at convection. And then this at nighttime is going to, it's going to do a lot of hurt for some people out there. Knocking out power. You see the icing event on the backside. This deeper pink color right here is very heavy ice. Okay, we're talking. Where'd it go? Nope, it's not. It's down here. Oh no, it's all snow. Up here. Oh, there it is. Freezing rain. We're talking maybe 3 to 4 inches of freezing rain in that area. 3 to 4 inches of freezing rain on the backside of this. Oh, dude. You see severe weather with freezing rain right next to it, and snow and warm, moist air. The center part right there, when all this collides like that, is not a place you want to be. Or is a place you don't want to be. Either way. That is a nasty looking storm right there. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I know you want to get to the spiritual report, but we got just a little bit more here because this is important. All right, we had our big quake and everybody's paying attention over here and everything. Our next big event to watch out for is this air mass collision. And here it comes right now. Here's the cold air pocket already. This is current conditions. So here's your cold air pocket. Here's your warm, moist air. It's coming together. There's tomorrow morning. Even though you don't see a lot of clouds and snow, this is your cold air mass. Here's your warm air mass. By noon tomorrow, convection tomorrow. Remember I said, we're not doing anything. If they start to do this right here, you start to see severe weather getting drawn up into this part of the tail here tomorrow night. You get severe weather in this region tomorrow night. That's a clear indicator that we're going to probably see this whole thing possibly pan out very similar to that. Maybe not exactly, but very similar. Maybe these won't be right on this. It could be a little further north, a little further east, hopefully all offshore, but I don't know. You see it whip back around. Yeah, that's just, see where our little counter is? That's just hours away. Really. When I've only had 8 hours of sleep in the last 72, that's 72 hours away. So it's... Okay. You guys are fun. All right, we're done. We're done, son. We can get to the spiritual report. I got all our astrophysics and geophysics, and everybody talks about metaphysics. Well, the real metaphysics is how you work, the spiritual realm, where you come from. You're actually a spirit having a human experience. I can't. Well, good. Get out of my class. You are out of storage. Well, you know what? You're out of my show. All right. Gonna pull these up real quick. Important stuff that we read to. Ran into a very important member today who had never seen this before. And when I showed this image, you ran into her town. showed her this image, and she saw it right away. So we got another member of the family. Someone with eyes that sees. Okay, and ears that hear too. We're going to hop into this. Let's see. I saw something here. Come on, what do we get? Come on, big money, no whammy. Scrolling, and stop. Oh, we stopped on a winner. Someone better be helping SC hurricane victim faster before that. You're not going to see much relief on any kind of catastrophe relief. If you've noticed, some places they just kind of forget about it, bulldoze over, and then hey, did you see the latest headlines? Yeah. So let me just kind of get over to my channel. Sorry. Getting delirious now. Sleep deprivation. Such a wonderful thing. Okay, here we go. I promise I'll take a nap after the show, not during it. All right. Very, very important that you understand what's going on in this image here. After having several years of faces chasing me in the sky, in the clouds, watching me, following me, looking at me, I just everywhere you go. Just accidentally picked my nose at the stoplight like some people do, and I look up, big old cloud looking at me laughing. Like, oh boy. But the problem is now these faces have changed, and now it's my face that's showing up in the clouds, and it's showing up by the moon, and it's showing up all over the place. And I'm like, why is my face showing up? Well, when it says seek my face, well, my face is what you're seeking. And when you see, it's not a good image. It's kind of blurry here. I kind of like it that way too. But when you see my face in the clouds, you look back behind it and you notice that it's coming from this right here. Just real quick. There's Jesus pulling open his shirt, exposing his heart, wearing sunglasses. Don't ask me why. Maybe it's a little bright in heaven or something, But there's Jesus wearing sunglasses, pulling open his shirt, exposing his heart, and his heart's radiating out these waves, forming my face in the sky. It's forming my face because of who I am, okay? When you seek my face, you find the heart of Jesus. It comes from the heart. The face comes from the heart of Jesus, the Holy of Holies. Okay, so good image for reading too, okay? And we'll leave that one up. We got this one up. We did a little sunglasses makes it. Well, yeah, it does. He's a cool cat, dude. Coolest dude you'll ever meet. Tell you that much. These people in Hollywood act like they're God at all. They couldn't help you overcome a mouse fart. But I know somebody who can help you overcome anything. Right here. Okay. So let's get into this, shall we? Oh, we got more. Oh yeah, we'll put up the one by the moon. And now what's bugging me is the original video that we like to watch before has been taken down. So we're going to watch MBB here for just a second. He does a lot of narration, so I want to just kind of get to the raw part of the video of the... I'm so sick of getting holsters shoved in my face. Hey, buy a gun holster. Yeah. Now, it wasn't on December 21st. It was actually on Leap Day. Okay, he's got a date's mistaken, but we're going to try to get right to the video part where this gentleman actually went out. He'd seen the face or seen this object by the moon before. He actually went out, bought a very expensive camera so he could zoom in and get this face. We don't have that video anymore, but this still describes some of it. So let's get this really quick here.
Done some work to it. I've done some modifications to the original format. They went inside, got people.
Eventually, they'll play it.
These are the people that right here that saw this.
Up there again. There's the face.
And he says right
This
there.
is not an app.
Here, listen
to this man's testimony.
Everybody's out here.
It's a 145.
Everybody's out here looking. We're coming out here to see. But I gotta get this. Y'all see that?
Multiple eyewitnesses.
That's crazy. Now, Hold up. Let me zoom so everybody can see it. Nice. Zoom on it. Hey, y'all need to call somebody.
Who are you gonna call?
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Tell them we're out here, what we're looking at. Now y'all see this. You see it, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there it is. That's a nice,
Woke him up.
crispy face. Hey, somebody got another phone? I don't want to be the only one recording this.
No, Roger, it's from the Start recording this, Roger.
Yeah, you gotta get this, we're all out here. We're just out here looking. There's a dog, even the dog's tripping. There it is.
Okay, this is the original video. Again, goes back to December 21st.
Actually, different date.
Incognito, Antonio
Right.
Othello. Analyzing this is because I've had at least two. I'm looking.
Here, I'm just gonna try to capture that one nice clear image. And lo and behold, it's my face again. Keeps showing up all over the place. It's getting embarrassing. I'm not a person who looks for attention, and it's kind of like I'm a little shy. That's why I don't show my face like Mr. MBB does down in the corner of my videos, because I'm not a big time of attention, all right? But it is kind of an important thing to understand what's going on. And when I'm doing my readings, I turn on my little book light like this here, and I pull it to the side, and right behind the camera here is my face, and I'm going to read some stuff to you. And that's what it looks like right now. Me, half of my face lit up right there, looking down. And this event actually took place during this time frame of the show. I was doing a show at this moment. These people were filming this. I was reading to you guys. At the very moment they were taking this video, I was reading to you guys. This showed up the same moment when I was doing this part of the show. So, everybody take a nice, big, deep breath, okay? Pull your finger out of the light socket. The hard part of the show is over. This is the relaxing part, okay? It's important that you understand what's going on so that you do indeed get this, okay? It's important that you bring your mind and bring me your mind. Bring me your mind for rest and renewal. Let me infuse my presence into your thoughts. Did you hear me? Let me infuse my presence into your thoughts. Now, as your mind stops racing, your body relaxes, and you regain awareness of me. This awareness is vital to your spiritual well-being. What's vital to your spiritual well-being? Your awareness of me. Okay? It is your lifeline. It's like your umbilical cord, spiritually speaking. Okay? So there are actually more than 4 dimensions in this world where we live, okay? In addition to the 3 dimensions of space and the one of time, there are dimensions. There's another dimension called openness to my presence. Okay, that is a dimension. Openness to my presence. See, there's openness to my presence. There's a dimension. Here's openness to my presence. That's a dimension, isn't it? It's a different dimension, isn't it? It's more than the 3 dimensions that you have on your earth right now, huh? This is a different dimension, isn't it? This is a different dimension. Okay, everybody thinks different dimensions are something else, but it's important that you understand that, because when you bring me your mind for rest and renewal, it's my presence infuses into your thoughts, and this awareness is vital to your spiritual well-being. There are these 4 dimensions, okay? The 4th one being openness to my presence, okay? Openness. Just be open to the idea. It might take a little while for it to really sink in or for you to believe, But right now, just openness to my presence, that I'm here. Now, this dimension of openness to my presence, this dimension actually transcends the others, giving you glimpses of heaven while you still reside on earth. Giving you what? Glimpses of heaven while you still reside here on earth. And this was part of my original design for mankind. Even the first Adam and Eve used to walk with me in the garden, and before their expulsion from Eden, I want you to walk with me in the garden of your heart, where I have taken up permanent residence. The garden in your heart, okay? That's where you were reborn. A second time was in your heart, okay? There's a garden in there. And I've taken up permanent residence in your garden, in the garden of your heart. You're stuck with me. It's a good thing to be stuck with, too. So, with that in the forefront of your mind now, and I know that there's still stuff in the back of your mind, and it's because this world is too much for you. Your mind leaps from problem to problem to problem, tangling your thoughts in anxious knots. So when you think like that, you leave me out of your worldview and your mind becomes darkened. You leave me out of your worldview. You have a view of the world, right? Your worldview. Well, you get so many anxious thoughts tangling up in knots in your head that you forget about me in your worldview. When you add this into your worldview, all of a sudden the world looks pathetic, and you look like you're looking strong right now. You're looking really strong right now. So, take a sip of this. So, you guys are doing really good too, by the way. And I do yearn to help you, but I will not violate your freedom. So, when your mind becomes darkened, even though I yearn to help you, I won't violate your freedom. Okay, I'm not going to just kick in the door of your mind when you're having issues. You got to do that. Okay, so I yearn to help you, but I will not violate your freedom. I stand silently in the background of your mind, waiting for you to remember that I am with you. I'm waiting for you to remember that I am with you. When you remember that, everything kind of takes the sting out of everything. When you turn from your problems to my presence, when you turn away from your problems and you turn to my presence, your load is immediately lighter, isn't it? Sure is, isn't it? Yep, that's what I want for you guys. Okay, I want to lighten the load for you, so when you turn from your problems and you recognize that I'm here, you recognize my presence, your load is immediately lighter. Your circumstances may not have changed, but we carry your burdens together. So your situation, your problems didn't change. It's your view on them that changed. It's your perspective. When you turn from your problems to my presence, that's changing your perspective on how you see your circumstances. Your circumstances may not have changed, but now together we carry the burden. So your compulsion to fix everything gives way to deep, satisfying connection with me. You're trying to fix the problem, and I'm just like, hey, you need to make a connection with me. It's then that together we can handle whatever the day brings. Okay? It's together. When you add this to the equation, you get perfection. Okay, so uh, just keep striving. It's sounds easy. It's just hard to do. Okay, so just keep striving to focus back to me when anxiety comes up, your thoughts are all tangled, you see stuff going on in the world like over in Syria, and you're going, oh, oh boy, this is definitely getting closer. So what? So what? You already getting glimpses of heaven. You are already got victory. Maybe you're anxious because you can't wait to get there, but it's a tough road getting there. So don't be anxious for the tough road. Just grin and bear it and use these tools. Um, so again, with something that's important for you guys to grasp, that's going to sound egotistical, but it's not. I want you to understand something. It's not it's not me going, hey, I'm all this, I'm all that. All right. In this world of unrelenting changes, I am the one who never changes. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. Find in me the stability for which you have yearned. You're yearning for stability, you find it in me. So find in me the stability for which you have yearned. I created a beautifully ordered world, one that reflected my perfection. So now the world is under the bondage of sin and evil, and every person on the planet faces these gaping jaws of uncertainty. Yes, those scary big old teeth that are lined in those gaping jaws of uncertainty. There's Honor Fox. Yay, she made it. I saw you earlier today, darling. Just glad you made it. Okay, good. All right, sorry. So, this beautifully ordered world reflects my perfection. The world is under bondage of sin and evil, and every person on the planet faces these gaping jaws of uncertainty. I know. I'm right here with you. Every person on this planet is facing uncertainty. The only antidote to this poisonous threat. Is there a poisonous threat right now? It sure is. There is an antidote. There is. But there's only one. The only antidote to this poisonous threat is drawing closer to me. It's not a magic trick. It's not this. It's not saying all these different prayers. No. No. The only antidote to the threats that are at the door is drawing closer to me. Because in my presence, you can face uncertainty with perfect peace. You can. It takes work. It's not easy. It sounds simple, but it takes a little bit of work. A lot of you have just fallen right in and not having any problems. Some of you, we struggle each day, multiple times today, and we go from glory to glory to glory to glory to glory. And sometimes your day doesn't end. It goes right into the next day. You might get a 2-hour power nap, and then you get up and just keep going glory and glory and glory and glory and glory through the next day. And then all of a sudden, after 48 hours of doing all this glory, and you finally get to take a 6-hour nap, and then you get up and you can keep going. Okay, and by the time the 3 days is done, look at all these things you've acquired in that time frame. So it can be exhausting, it can be long, it can be like an endurance run sometimes, and just keep going. Okay. What else we got here? Oh yeah, finally there it is. I was looking for this forever. Where are we going with this one? To that image? What's this one? No, we're gonna do it to this image actually. All right, that's a good one with the heart and the face and everything, but we're gonna have to do it to this one because it's important that you get this or grasp this concept. So, when you guys start each day, this is when I do my shows at midnight because little do you know, some of you ended your day and others are starting your day with me, aren't you? It's after midnight, so you're starting your day with me. And this is my face, and you seek my face, right? You find my face coming in the clouds, power and great glory. So seek my face at the beginning of your day, like right now. This practice enables you to put me on and wear me throughout the day. Kind of like a nice outfit, you know? You can put me on like almost like a nice suit and wear me throughout the day, like a suit of armor almost. You want to be a knight? Put on a suit of armor and wear me all day. Be that knight in armor walking around, put me on and wear me. Most people put on clothes right after rising from bed, and similarly, the sooner you put me on by communicating with me, the better prepared you are for whatever comes your way that day. It's like putting on the bulletproof vest before you go out to combat, right? It's like putting on a helmet before you ride a motorcycle. It's protection. So, like a protective suit, put me on and wear me. And the sooner you put me on, like put on that suit of armor, it's done by communicating with me. So communicate with me in the beginning of your day, put on that suit of armor, and the better prepared you are for whatever comes your way. You'll already be in your suit of armor. Kind of. All right. Now, where's another drink? Oh boy. All right. Got a lot of talking here. All right, back to this. Get out of bed, communicate with me, wear me, put on that suit of armor, and go out in it. When you go outside, this stuff is in your clouds. There's UFOs all over your skies right now. When you go outside of your house, you're going out in it. You're going out in the apocalypse, right? Okay, so every time you go out, it's important that you put on that suit of armor and wear me. So to wear me is essentially to have my mindset, my perspective, to think my thoughts. So you want to wear me, get up in the morning, communicate with me, put me on, which is to have my mindset, which is, oh, there's going to be a bumpy day, but I'm going to salvage it. It might take a little effort, a little work, but let's see how many glories we can get through the day, okay? So have that mindset, put that perspective on, and ask the Holy Spirit inside you to control your thinking. Be transformed by this renewal within you. Okay? When you're living this way, every morning wearing me, asking the Holy Spirit to control your thinking throughout the course of the day, your salvage work becomes much more efficient and you are being transformed by this renewal within you. There's a renewal inside of you. You have hope. You have strength. You have courage now. That's the renewal within you, the transformation inside of you. Now, you wear me, you get up, you communicate, you put me on like a suit of armor, you wear me, you ask the Holy Spirit to control your thinking, and you are well equipped to face whatever people and situations that I bring your way. They're not just happenstances. These people and situations I am throwing at you I'm bringing them your way. I'm throwing this at you to see if you can handle this. I gave you enough strength for today to do it. Let's see how well you manage. Okay? And when you look at it from that perspective, it takes the sting out of everything. Okay? So you are well equipped to face whatever people and situations I bring your way. When you're putting me on and you're clothing your mind in me, that's your best preparation for each day. Okay. Now, this discipline does bring joy and peace to you and those around you. Okay. It's not, hey, you owe me because I showed you how to do this magic trick or something. No, no, no. It's much different than that. This is a discipline I want you to practice. What's the point of going to this part of the show and hearing all these stuff if you're not going to practice these disciplines? Everybody here that's still at this part has practiced them, and that's why they're still here. They found it. They found the key that opens up the door to hope, joy, courage. They seek my face at the beginning of their day, and then they put me on and wear me like a suit of armor. Why do you think my name is Brian Knight? Like a knight in a suit of armor, shining armor, I want you to think of yourself that way. You get up, you're going into the battle, you're going into the battleground, you're going into the war zone. This is combat, spiritual warfare at the extreme. And you are a knight in shining armor. So put on that armor when you get up in the morning by connecting with me, letting my thoughts permeate your mind. Look at the world from this perspective, not from the media's perspective, from this, and you will be okay. It's the best preparation for each day. And this discipline brings joy and peace to you. Okay. And when you do get this joy and peace, you're practicing this discipline, and you do find this joy and peace, and it does go into the people around you. You're being anointed. That's me anointing through you. So let me anoint you with my presence. I am King of Kings and Lord of Lords, dwelling in unapproachable light. When you draw near to me, I respond by coming closer to you, don't I? As my presence envelops you, you may feel a little overwhelmed by power and glory, by my power and glory. And this is a form of worship, sensing your smallness in comparison to my greatness. When you sense that comparison, there's something bigger than me. When you accept that, that's a form of worship. That's okay. That a power greater than yourself exists, that it's me, and sensing your smallness in comparison to my greatness, that's a form of worship right there. Accepting it. Man has tended to make himself the measure of all things, but man's measure is just too tiny to comprehend my majestic vastness. Your brain's just too tiny to comprehend the majestic vastness of eternity. Okay? And that is why most people do not see me at all. Even though they try, even though they live and move and have their being in me, they do not see me at all. Most people don't. But you guys do. Do you understand how blessed that makes you now? Not everybody sees me. You do. It makes you blessed. Doubly blessed. And it's because man has tended to make himself the measure of all things. But man's measure is too tiny. Okay? And that's why people don't see me at all. Even though they live and move and have their being in me, they just don't see me. But you do. So enjoy the radiant beauty of my presence and declare my glorious being to the world. Go out there and declare it to the world. I'm here. The presence. It's just my mere presence that works. I got a lot for you guys, so I'm just gonna keep reading. So you just sit there and listen. See that picture right there? That's out by the moon. That's my face next to the moon. I am with you, watching over you constantly. So if I am with you and I am watching over you constantly, that makes me Emmanuel, God with you. My presence enfolds you in radiant love. My presence enfolds you in what kind of love? Radiant love. Okay? My presence enfolds you in radiant love, and nothing, including the brightest blessings and the darkest trials, can separate you from me. So some of my children find me more readily during dark times, when difficulties force them to depend on me. Others feel closer to me when their lives are filled with good things. They respond with thanksgiving and praise, thus opening wide the door to my presence. I know precisely what you need to draw nearer to you. I know precisely what you need to draw nearer to me. So go through each day looking for what I have prepared for you. There's preparations all over the place. There are treasures all along your path all day long. So go looking for them. I know precisely what you need. Okay, so go through each day looking for the treasures that I've prepared for you. Accept every event as my hand-tailored provision for your needs. Yeah, even the bad ones, especially the bad ones, the tough ones, the hard ones, they're hand-tailored for you, because when you overcome it, you get another glory. And you do. You just keep going and you overcome it. It sounds hard when it's coming at you, but you just keep walking through it. And you turn around, it's behind you. You're like, whoa, we went right through it. Oh, I overcame it. Just the thought of it sometimes scares people so much. You need to understand that I am with you, watching over you. When that sinks in, you really grab this. So go through each day looking for those treasures, accept every event as my hand-tailored provision for your needs. Even Syria. Everything is a hand-tailored event. So when you view your life from this perspective, the most reasonable response is to be thankful. So do not reject any of my gifts and find me in every situation. When you do, it takes the sting out of it. Okay, so I think this is the closer. Oh, no, I got one more. Okay, two more. X-Player right now? Okay, we'll get to it in just a second. Let me finish this up. Because you can't be rushed, all right? Time with me cannot be rushed. So when you are in a hurry, when we're all in a hurry, like right now, I see the X-Player. Thank you, Kung Fu Grasshopper. Time with me cannot be rushed. When you're in a hurry, your mind flitters back and forth to the X-Player, between me and the X-Player, and the task ahead of you gets pushed back. So push back the demands pressing in on you, like right now, because we're creating a safe space around you, a haven in which you can rest with me. I also desire this time of focused attention, and I use it to bless you. This time of focused attention I use to bless you. It blesses you, which strengthens you and equipping you for the next day ahead. So spending time with me is a wise investment. Bring me the sacrifice of your time. Not the sacrifice of blood, not the sacrifice of your kids. Your sacrifice is your time, your precious time. That's why I thank you for taking a moment of your precious time, because that's your sacrifice. So bring me the sacrifice of your precious time, and this creates a sacred space around you, a space permeated with my presence and my peace. One more for the closer. Actually, we'll do that after the X Flare. We'll close with that. Let's go check out our X Flare here really quick, you guys. Probably because we're on fire over at this channel. We probably kind of, yeah. But what we got is that region that we were just talking about that could possibly potential X Flare because of the bigger object. Let's go see what just happened. Oh wait, it's probably, whoops, wrong one. Probably not on the satellite yet, so we'll just go to solar ham here. Oh yeah, it's at M47 now, but what we can do is just go like this. Good call, grasshopper. All right, all I want from this, there's your little spike. X 2.2, 2.2. Interesting. So X 2.2 just happened. Currently underway. Come down to M 4.7. So I bet it's probably from 17. Sunspot was at 39.17. Let's go see if we have anything on our so X 2.2 just happened moments ago. We're gonna see if anything came up on satellite. So 12.8, hopefully the latest data should be the last frame. No, so this hasn't caught up to it yet, but let's see which area is reacting. It's going to come out of this region. You can see this stretching out here. I bet it's going to be coming out of this region. Well, that's not even where our sunspot is. It's more on the front disk. Look at all this going on over here. See, this is how I kind of look at stuff, because these things act like compass needles pointing out towards the next magnetic field. And they're stretching out, being pulled out that way. So it hasn't made it on the satellite yet, but there it is. Thank you very much, Kung Fu Grasshopper. That's good looking out. Let's see, what was this? We totally understand, Brad and my. Oh, okay, good. You guys were talking there. Oh, good. Such a strong flare and energy is clearing. Okay, so when we were doing the report just a little while ago, and I was telling you about beta delta, all we need is the gamma component. We could possibly see an X flare. I'm not trying to say I told you so or I predicted this, but we were just talking about that stuff. And here we go. There's your cause and effect. Yeah. Interesting time. And then we're going to go check something else over here too. Oh yeah, the auroras. All right, so still a little yellow band in there. Okay, coming out of that region. And what are we going to do? I'm sure there's not tracking anything yet. No, that's the one we saw earlier. That's the one we were looking at on the satellite still. So this hasn't been updated. I didn't expect it to be. It's too soon. But the really only instrument that we can kind of look at right now is your GOES solar X-ray flux right here. And then when I clicked on it, you could see that we had our readings here. And beginning at C 2.6, the maximum was X 2.2. Okay, and it seems to be declining. Sometimes these things will decline a little bit and spike back up, but that one's kind of short lived. It's already over and declining pretty well. So there we go. Finish off the show with an X flare, huh? Way to close the show. All right. One last little thing here I got for you. So, when we're doing the spiritual work and you're transcending your circumstances, you're finding that peace, you're getting up, you're wearing me, you're putting on that suit of armor, okay, the armor of God, and you go out into the battlefield in combat, spiritual warfare, trying to bring light in the darkness. Okay, when you're doing that, it gives you this inner peace. All right, the peace that I give you transcends not only your circumstances, but it transcends your intellect as well. So when most of your mental energy goes into efforts to figure things out, you are unable to receive this glorious gift of peace because you're too busy trying to figure things out. You're doing these mental jumping jacks, right? And you're mental jumping jacks, mental push-ups, your mental marathon. Some of you are just like mental just it's gone way too far. So you need to that peace that I give you. It transcends more than your circumstances. It also transcends your intellect, and you're wasting energy trying to figure things out. And when you're wasting energy trying to figure things out, which you'll never will, you're unable to receive the glorious gift of peace. So what I do is I look into your mind and I see these thoughts spinning around in your head, going nowhere, accomplishing nothing. Going nowhere, accomplishing nothing. All the while, my peace hovers over you, searching for a place to land. My peace is over you, searching for a place to land. So be still in my presence, inviting me to control your thoughts, and let my light soak into your mind and into your heart until you are aglow with my very being. This is the most effective way to receive my peace, to let my light soak into your mind and heart until you are aglow with my very being. Until you're glowing like that face by the moon that I just knocked out of the show there. Okay? So that's it. Be still in my presence, inviting me to control your thoughts, not control your mind or your will. Invite me to control your thoughts. Let my light soak into your mind and heart so you can glow. Okay? There's a meowing at me. Where's that coming from? Oh. Whew. Thank God it was coming from the cat. All right, so that is it for tonight's reading. And interesting, we got a little X flare at the end of the show. And I'm sure everybody will be reporting on that tomorrow. And we'll have more data from the satellite and everything. But really not much to report out of right now because we don't even know sunspot region or where it came, what direction it's going. But there we are, close to having an X flare, and sure enough, bingo, there it happened. It was kind of funny when Grasshopper said that. I was like, yep, doesn't surprise me. I figured. Now let's see here. Absolutely, Brian. I used to hear that when you let yourself become paralyzed with worry, you are trying to take the power out of God's hands in your life. Ooh, that is true. That's a good one. That is a good one. For me, that's more true than ever. Yeah. Yeah. When you let yourself become paralyzed with fear or worry, well, then you've just kind of taken God's power into your hands. You're taking the power out of God's hands in your life. That's a good one. I like that, Honora Fox. Angel Wings, thanks for being here. Yeah. Honor Fox, John White. Oh, good. You were talking with John. Kung Fu Grasshopper. Thank you for the uh, the news dump. The headlines there. That was a good one. Good looking out. You're looking out for the family, huh? Was that you looking out for the family? Good job, Kung Fu Grasshopper. Hey everybody, we got another protector here. He's a grasshopper, but he knows kung fu, so that's good enough. John White, thank you so much for welcoming me and being here to honor or for welcoming Honor of Fox. J-Boss, thank you for being here. Glinda, thank you. Hopkinson, oh, I always love Hopkinson here. Stephen A. definitely figured it out. Brother Brian, yes, please get some healing rest and let us take time to pray on your behalf. Oh, thank you. Pray on my behalf. I could use some prayers. We could all use prayers. You should know there's no such thing as privacy. I invite them into my life. Everybody's trying to hide from the agencies. I told them, hey, I'm over here. I dare you. Watch me, please. Please spy on me. Spy on me, FBI, CIA, please, I dare you. Maybe you will learn something like integrity, courage, valor, honor. That's why I want them to watch me so they'll learn something. Stop acting like a bunch of children. Meanwhile, at this family, we have mature spiritual adults here. Okay, and you guys are just going to town on your salvage work. Okay, you find salvation in this. Meantime, while we wait, okay, patience and perseverance. Keep waiting, keep working through each day. No, my only virus threat is you. All right. So, salvage is the root word of salvation. If you go through your days just being depressed and, poor me and, pity party, you're just going to be miserable. You got to practice these disciplines to find that peace that transcends your circumstances. Right now, you see the world is going, it looks like it's falling apart, but it's actually falling together. All right. So when you look at it from that perspective, all of a sudden these puzzle pieces are, it's not it's not a bad thing. It's all coming together. It's just in a different way than most people thought. Okay. Much like this. This is happening much different than the way people thought, than the way Hollywood portrayed this rapture type stuff, right? Funny, the word rapture isn't in the Bible, yet a bunch of Bible scholars insist that it's in there, but they don't get the gist of the text. It says, when you see these signs, look up, you'll see me coming in the clouds, all right? It's not like a man levitating with wind blowing through his hair, levitating in the clouds like Hollywood portrayed. No, it's carved into the clouds. How are you going to do that? How's man-made Project Bluebeam going to make the cloud water droplets configure into a head with a crown in a dimension that they don't even know exists? So that's pretty much out of the question, which leaves one answer. This is real. You are looking at a real event. 2,000-year-old prophecy came true on Easter. That and the star alignment, that should have rocked the world. But it's mainly for my closest loved ones, which would happen to be you guys. Doesn't that feel good? Knowing that everybody's waiting to turn into a little dot and show up in the sky are going to be disappointed. The ones who aren't disappointed are the ones who are truly caught up, like a good book or a good song or a good live YouTube stream. You're caught up with me in the clouds, where I went ahead and provided it, or we meet in the air of cyberspace. I can't come over to your house and give you a big hug. So we go live on YouTube so I can meet up with you guys in the chat room, right? That's how I meet my family in the air of cyberspace, where I went ahead and made a place that where I am here at Brian Knight Channel, you may be also. Okay? So you are technically raptured. And now that you see that I complete your faith, taking it to knowing, now that you know, you may practice your salvage work in the meantime while we wait patiently. We persevere while we wait patiently, trying to salvage your day. Something will come along, and maybe not every day. Some days go good and you have a good day, and that's when you appreciate, hey, that day went smooth. I didn't have to, so much salvage work to overcome today. Finally, a nice smooth day. Thank you, Lord, for a smooth day. Then another day comes, more testing, more prodding, more pushing of buttons to see how you'll react and see how well you'll overcome. And you keep going each day, salvaging that day. Maybe you have to do it twice, maybe even 3 times a day. But when you do, you've overcome something and you get a glory. That's the only way you can get a glory, is in tribulation. You have to overcome adversity. The adversity is your adversary. So when you overcome the evil within you and choose good, and you choose to salvage your day and turn your day around, refuse to be depressed or scared by what you heard in the news, lift up your head, take a moment, take time out, say a prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the news I just heard. You can change that phrase to so many different things because you're asking God to grant you serenity because of a certain situation, right? Try it. It just works wonders. I will say it 5 times in a row until it takes effect. Maybe it doesn't take effect on the first one. You might have to say it 3 or 4 times in a row until your mind has been taken away from your situation and you indeed have found a little bit of serenity. That's how this works. You got to fight for your peace of mind. You got to fight for serenity, right? So you overcome your obstacles each day, going from glory to glory. You're glorying in your tribulation. You're collecting these. I'm collecting these. I'm collecting your overcomings, your victories, and I'm making collages out of your victories. See, I know what to do with your victories. Evil is there for you to overcome it. When you overcome that evil, that's a real victory, isn't it? It's not a fake one. It's a real one. Therefore, it goes on the real board here, the real collage. So when you're really doing stuff, you're actually overcoming many things that you don't even see or are aware of. Did you know that? You think it's just that one circumstance that you're struggling with. No, there's 14 others that are connected to it. And if you could just get over that one circumstance, it will release the other 14 connected to it. So you just keep working at it. If it doesn't come right away, just methodically keep going. Sometimes we try to go too fast, and I liken it to a 4-speed car, right? A 4-speed stick shift. Every day we get up and we jam it into 4th gear and just haul ass through our day, right? Some days you need to slow down. Put it in 3rd. Pace yourself. Just cruise. Don't go so fast. Pace yourself. Other days you might be sore and full of pain and you need rest. I'm putting it in 1st gear today. I'm going to move slow. I'm going to, do less effort to gather your wits and your energy until you overcome the situation. And once you do, you move forward. Just keep moving forward. Don't look back. Don't dwell on the past. I got all that covered for you. I was there with you in the past, by the way. So all those things and all those regrets you have in the past, I was there with you then. I saw it all. So you don't future trip and don't trip about the past. Be in the present moment. Live in the present moment using these tools. When you use these disciplines and practice these disciplines, that makes you a disciple by default. Practicing disciplines makes one disciple, okay, by default. So you take these things that I'm teaching you and you're putting them to practice in your life and finding results, that makes you a disciple. And what you do is just keep going, salvage your day. Just keep going. Try to show this to other people so they can salvage their day. So then you can bring light from your face and joy from your face and from your heart and mind into other people's hearts and minds. And it's infectious. We could start an epidemic of joy and peace and love. Did you know that? It could just be full blown. Oh my gosh, you'd have to wear masks to keep everybody from kissing each other. It could just get contagious. Oh, kitty, you're my love bug. Name of the cat Herbie, the love bug. Yeah, you are Herbie. He's got to be part of the show too. All right. Anyways, I love you guys. You are indeed a precious royal family. When you practice these disciplines, that makes you a member of this royal family. When you believe me and you trust me and you find the miracle, then you can proceed forward with the peace that transcends your circumstances. And now, sometimes the circumstances are going to increase in difficulty because you've achieved the beginner level. So we're going to step it up to intermediate for some, not for all. For those who have achieved beginner, then we go to intermediate, and then you achieve that, and then we go to a little bit more advanced, and then you achieve that, and then we get you to an advanced level that where anything come at you, you're just like laughing off, and then we get to the master level where nothing can shake you. You will be a rock, okay? And it's just baby steps, and baby steps aren't baby. Each step in this process is huge. Okay? Some of them take time. So if it doesn't happen right away for you, don't give up. Keep working until you find how to use that tool. You understand the tool, you know it's a wrench, but you don't know how to apply it yet and twist. So just keep practicing with these tools. The more you practice with them, the better you will get with them. And then in the future here, when things get really crazy, you will have a toolbox full of tools that you already know how to use. It won't be a beginner session for like the rest of the world who's going to look up and go, what? There's something going on in the clouds. You'll be like, yeah, for 7 years. You'll see him coming in the clouds. You'll be well advanced, way advanced, well ahead of them, well ahead of the curve. And accomplished as well. When adversity comes in, you won't be so anxious. You'll be like, oh, I've done that one before. I've completed that one before. I can do it. I remember all it takes is just a little bit of patience. Yep, sure enough, already completed. On to the next glory. And it might sound weird, but when you get to a level of mastering this stuff, you'll pray for adversity in your life. Life will be dull and boring without some adversity in your life to overcome. You'll be so good at it and so well versed, it'll be second nature. And then when there's nothing to overcome, you'll be like, well, this is boring. So you're like, Lord, could I have just a little bit of adversity? Give me something to overcome today, It sounds odd, but once you get there, you're gonna love this. It only strengthens you, gives you hope, takes the sting out of your circumstances, gives you peace that transcends those circumstances. It's everything. Heal your body, your mind, everything. Everything. You can have everything by a simple, I believe you and I trust you, and then practicing the disciplines. Pretty easy stuff for eternity in paradise. All right, that's it for now. I'm rambling on. I got the cat. He's telling me to shut up, so he knows me pretty well. He's like, "That's enough. Wrap it up." So we're gonna wrap it up. But before I go, I just need to remind you that I miss you. I love you. I told you I would be back. I'm a man of my word. And until my next show, I will be back. See, Marcia figured it out. She believes and trusts, and she's seeing the miracles in her life. Ask her. You talk to each other. You guys should exchange notes. Yeah, I tried this and it worked out. I tried that, what he said, and it happened. And exchange notes with each other. Hey, utilize that tool that he was talking about. Utilize it this way in one of the circumstances. When you guys share that information, it only helps the other people. Okay, I'm coming, Bubba. All right, that's it. I gotta go. I love you all. And until my next show, I will be back. I'm a man of my word. I am already back. And you guys can tell. The rest of the world is in for a shock, aren't they? Aren't they? I bet you were a little shocked at first. You remember that feeling when it first kind of clicked with you? Yeah, the world's in for that kind of what? That what moment? That oh shit moment? All right. So I love you. I miss you. Until my next show, I will be back. I am already back and I am still to come. Oh yeah, hopefully I get some sleep too. Bye. I love you all. Bye.